So to get started, we're going to tip the machine over. Make sure that we have a big drop cloth. We want to make sure that we're not going to spill anything on the floor. First thing we want to do is take the cylinders loose. So we just loosen up the bolts. And then we're going to be working on the seals. We want to loosen up the tops here of the cylinder. There's 3 holes on the side of the cylinder. You put your bolt, 1/4-inch bolt in one of the holes, and then you should be able to twist it counterclockwise. We want to make sure that it's loose. It'll go counterclockwise. If it's really, really tight and you can't get it open, then what you're going to do is you're going to put the thing in there, and we're going to take a big screwdriver. We're going to put it right there, right where the 2 points meet, and then we're going to whack it with our hammer. And it should break free. You might have to whack it pretty hard, but it'll break it free. So we know that this one is loose and we're ready to take it apart. So first thing we're going to do is take the cylinder off the machine. Basically, we've already loosened the bolts. We'll take those out.
Get ready for a 10-second count.
Set them down, pull that up there, and we've got the thing loose. We don't need to take the cylinder completely off the machine to replace the seal. So, but we are going to spill some oil. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take the cylinder apart right on the machine, and you're going to use your bolt to turn the top of the cylinder. It's a good idea to have a bunch of paper towels or something to soak up the oil that's going to spill out here. Through the top of the cylinder, and we pull this thing out. And this is what it'll look like once we get the whole thing out. You notice that there's a little screw here, and this cylinder moves. So the next thing we want to do is take that bolt loose right here. So we got the bolt off, and then we're going to take the silver shaft by pushing it down. We'll pull the silver shaft out of the collar. Now this is the collar, and inside this collar there's a rubber seal in there. So anyway, we have a seal on the inside and we have to get the seal out. You can use an ice pick, a small screwdriver, something that's sharp so that you can jam it in here, and we're going to pry out that seal.
Change stations now.
And it'll pop right out when you get it loose. So what we're going to do next is get one of our new seals. And notice that this seal has a top and a bottom. The top is flat, the bottom has grooves in it. Now we're going to have to put that back in this hole. Okay, we're going to now put the seals into this collar here after we've gotten them out. One trick is to soften the seal. So get yourself some hot water and soak the seal in the hot water for 10 or 15 minutes and get it a little bit more pliable. And then we're going to start putting it in here. Goes in at an angle. The top, of course, is smooth. The bottom has the grooves in it. Make sure you get it into the correct direction. You push it in that little groove and then you start working it around using your fingers on both sides. Because the seal is somewhat stiff, it takes a bit of pushing and playing to get it started in the groove. And then of course you have to keep working it around to get it all the way in the groove. But you get it down in there, and it'll all pop in there. And you shouldn't have to use any tools, you'll just have to sort of work it around and get it in there, and it'll pop in there, and once it's in, it'll be smooth like that. So just dry everything off again, make sure it's good. Now we have a new seal in here. We're going to put the silver shaft back in. So put it on the floor and push this down very hard and it'll go in. Now do not pull this collar all the way up, because it'll come off the top here and it'll jam up and then it'll break your seal. So anyway, do that. Now we're going to put the retaining clip back on. We put this bolt back in here again. Snug it up. And now we're ready to put this back inside our cylinder. So we just notice that there's a small O-ring here in the top. You should not have to replace that. You should just leave it alone, don't touch it. Okay? We slide this back in here, and then we're going to screw this in. When it gets tight, take that bolt again. There it is. And we put that in there, and then we just snug it up. Don't, you know, you don't have to break it loose with a sumo wrestler move, but just snug it back up. We're going to put this back together again. You notice that when this came apart, there were two plastic washers. They go on either side of the cylinder in this place right here. So now to put it back in, we're going to line it up, put our plastic washer in on the bottom side of it, and then looking down from the top, watch how it goes together, and wiggle the washer, and then you're going to wiggle this up here, put the other washer in on the top, and it comes all the way through, and we put our nut back on here.
Change station